What's up, everybody? My name is Jonathan Casey. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. Today we're talking about the LG V60 and how it potentially could be a better value than the S20 Ultra and the S20 Plus. And in a lot of ways, it's like this phone, which is the LG G8 X 10Q. A week ago, I was in New York for a couple different events, and one of those happened to be the LG V60, in which I was fortunate enough to get some hands-on time with the phone. The LG V60 is going to come in two different colors. We have classy blue and a classy white. Names aside, the colors do look pretty nice. They have like a cool color changing effect depending on the way the light hits the phone. It's nowhere near as striking as the Aura Glow from Samsung of last year, but in my opinion, it's much better in terms of the colors that are available for the Galaxy S20 Ultra. Size-wise, it's a little hefty, but not as much as the Ultra. It's relatively slim, and I found it to be comfortable in the hand when using it. The beveled edges look great. The camera bump on the back isn't completely flush with the phone, but it's a huge step up from the S20 Ultra. But that's also because it doesn't have as many cameras as the Plus or the Ultra. More on that later. The display is a 6.8-inch full vision, Full HD Plus POLED panel that goes up to 500 nits. Honestly, until I read the specs myself, I really thought it was a Quad HD display. It really is that nice, and it's further proof that Quad HD displays on smartphones are really not that important. Also, the V60 packs the same in-display fingerprint scanner as previous LG phones, like the LG G8 X 10Q, which I have zero complaints about. On the side, there's a dedicated Google Assistant key, which I love, same as the LG G8 X 10Q. For the audio lovers out there, you'll be pleased to know that LG has decided to keep the headphone jack, and they've even improved the high fidelity quad DAC, which was already excellent. Based off of what I'm seeing from smartphone manufacturers, this year is going to be a huge push for 5G, which is mostly due to Qualcomm and their new Snapdragon 865 processor. That said, LG, of course, is hopping on board the 5G train, and that was one of the biggest references during their presentation. Needless to say, the V60 is equipped with the Snapdragon 865 that is 5G and Wi-Fi 6 ready. It has 8 GB of RAM and comes in either 128 or 256 GB of internal storage. This storage can be expanded by a micro SD card up to 2 TB, which I'm definitely happy to see. Finally, there's a whopping 5,000 mAh battery that supports Quick Charge 4.0, giving you 50% charge in 30 minutes, which again, is pretty impressive. Other than the massive 5G tout, the rest of the presentation was focused on cameras, which I can't lie, they seem pretty good. On the back, there are two rear cameras, which are a 64 megapixel standard camera with an aperture of f1.8, and it packs OIS. Then there's the 13 megapixel wide angle camera with an aperture of f1.9. On the front side, we have a 10 megapixel camera with an aperture of f1.9 and a pixel size of 1.22 microns, so it should perform decent in low light. The standard camera on the back side has a pixel size of 0.8 microns, which is similar to the S20 Ultra with its 108 megapixel main sensor. And just like the S20 Ultra, the V60 does have a binning mode that will compress the 64 megapixel shot to 16 megapixels, thus enlarging the pixel size to 0.6 microns, improving its low light performance quite a bit. While there isn't a telephoto camera, you still have telephoto options up to 10x. LG is using sensor cropping in order to accomplish this, so the more you zoom in, the less resolution your image will be. For video, the V60 can shoot 8K at 24 frames per second. This seems to be another theme this year, which I'm totally cool with, don't get me wrong. It can shoot 4K up to 60 frames per second, and it has the ability to capture HDR10+ video, which results in 10-bit color depth. No word yet on data rate though, which really has me concerned since LG has been known in the past to have some of the worst data rates when it comes to video recording, and ultimately it just causes the footage to fall apart really easily. One interesting feature is the 4-channel mic array that surrounds the entire phone. LG stated that the V60 will utilize all of these mics in order to perform a feature they're calling voice bokeh. Basically, it utilizes all of the mics to detect a voice, and then it isolates that voice from background noise, improving clarity and decreasing background noise. I'm really interested to see how this is going to work in a real life scenario, and I'll definitely be testing this out once I get a V60 in-house. On the camera software side of things, we have AI improvements, which is always nice to see. I mean, it has the ability to shoot slow motion video, which I'm assuming is 1080p up to 240 frames per second and possibly 960 frames per second at 720p, but I'm not 100% on that, so don't quote me. There's also a night view mode, which is LG's take on night mode and basically utilizes multiple exposures for improved low light photography. There's also touch-enabled autofocus tracking, which I'm always welcoming, and another feature that I cannot wait to try out. Of course, we have manual mode options for photo and video with extensive controls for just about everything you want to take control of. If you like taking time lapses, you may be intrigued by the new AI-powered time-lapse mode. It will automatically adjust the speed of the time-lapse based off of the scene that you're shooting using the AI. If for some reason it isn't the speed that you wanted, you are able to go in and manually adjust it yourself. Finally, there's the new 3D photo effects that work surprisingly well and have a super trippy look to them that's impossible to show on camera. The best way to describe it is, have you ever seen a portrait mode shot on Facebook, and as you're scrolling through your feed, it creates like a 3D parallax effect? It's literally that. That's where they got the inspiration for this new mode. There are some other pretty nice additions to the V60, like the new 3D sound engine that utilizes AI to optimize playback quality by adjusting the settings based on the content that's being consumed. Again, something that sounds intricate on paper, but I'll need to try it in a real life scenario in order to see if it's going to work properly. There's also a few new accessories like a gamepad and a keyboard case, plus the new optional dual screen case, which is very similar to the one that I have for the G8 X10Q, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It uses the same display panel as the V60 for continuity, which is a plus. Also, Google Apps now fully utilize wide view in order to expand and take advantage of both displays. Unfortunately, it was really buggy during my use, so hopefully it gets better whenever the V60 is released, especially with that dual screen case. Oh, and it still uses the magnetic USB-C connector for charging the phone with the case on, just like the G8 X10Q dual screen case. LG also showcased LG Pay, which works exactly like Samsung Pay, and it utilizes NFC and MST technology, so you can use it on traditional credit card swipers. I'm completely stoked about this because Samsung Pay is the best form of a mobile payment system in my personal opinion. It's just really versatile. So how much do you think all of this is going to cost? Knowing that flagship phones are exceeding that $1,000 price tag and damn near close to that $2,000 mark, would it be safe to assume the V60 will be around $1,200? No. We don't know the exact price, but we were told that the price will be below the lowest end Galaxy S20 model, which happens to be $1,000. So the V60 is going to be a sub $1,000 phone that packs all of this plus much more. Obviously, I can't tell you that this phone is going to be better than the S20 Ultra or the S20 Plus without spending more time with it. However, based off of my hands-on, the features that it packs, and the fact that it's below $1,000, all I can say is Samsung needs to be careful with their device pricing this year because they definitely have some competition. It's shaping up to be an exciting year for smartphones, which brings me to the question, what are your thoughts on the LG V60? Do you think it's going to be a hit, or do you think it's going to flop? Sound off down below. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos just like this, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one.